All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome back again to another episode of Seeing Light Through Darkness. I am your host, as you all know, Kylan, better known as Kai, out here in these streets. And with me again this evening is co-host Miss Monisha, aka Mo, as you all know her. And
what's up?
I love her little what's up. You hear that? What's up? And with me again, also our newest co-host making a voice appearance for the first time is Miss Tequila, aka Kiki.
Hey.
I love it. I love it. I love y'all's voices. So cute. Before we begin, I do want to let everyone know where they can follow this podcast, Seeing Light Through Darkness. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Anchor. So just look for Seeing Light Through Darkness by My Mental Space. And you can also find us on Facebook at My Mental Space, as well as Instagram and Twitter at My Mental Space 21. Again, those are the numbers 2 and 1, My Mental Space 21. And last but not least, on YouTube at My Mental Space. And as always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for the latest content. All right. That was a mouthful. So this evening I wanted to we were discussing what's considered a healthy relationship or friendship, however you want to put it. We all have relationships. We all wear many different hats. We are all, even with the three of us, we are wives, we are mothers, we are sisters, we are daughters, we are aunts. It's, so all of those are considered relationships. We're, girlfriends, it doesn't matter. Those are all relationships, whether they're romantic or not. So I wanted to just get you all's take on what is considered a healthy relationship, to you. Kiki, did you want to start us in on what do you consider a healthy relationship? What does that look like for you?
That's a real good one. Like my daughter always said, at your big age, you would think you would know a lot by now. Me being 39, what I really just learned what a healthy relationship is. Mm-hmm. Because ships are really supposed to take you somewhere.
Yeah.
So when you realize you're in whatever type of relationship it is, whether, friendship, whether you significant other, whatever type of ship it is, you're supposed to help each other go somewhere. But it's like when you're always doing, they never give back, then you have to sit back and reflect and pull away. Yeah. Because it's not healthy.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's right. That's my, and that's what you just mentioned right there is what I've actually have been struggling with. I want to say all my life for the most part, even from, grade school, but I did not start to pay attention to it until recently, like last year, or maybe like during the pandemic. That phase where we went through that and we were, forced to be at home and, some of us didn't take the message, but the other half of us, got quiet, sat still and started to reflect.
Right.
And that is when I started to realize who was for me and who wasn't.
Oh, girl, you said something.
And but in that same manner, I'm pretty sure others have asked themselves that same question, even, pertaining to myself. Because I wasn't always a good friend. I didn't know how to be. I'm just gonna be real. I'm gonna be real. I didn't know how to be, because and it's not that I didn't want to be a friend. And I actually said this out of my mouth years ago. I actually told Brian, I said, I'm not a good friend.
Wow.
And I think it was because just all of the mess that I had gone through in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And along somewhere along the way, I became something that even I did not like. And I built that wall. And I built that wall because my feelings just kept getting hurt. Just the feeling of being, abandoned and, going through, it was just like the things that I was dealing with, within my family. Things on the outside of that, I was getting that same feeling. Like, even with, meeting Brian when I was in middle school at 13, he went through some things, and I even, with us early on, it was like, I felt, a sense of abandonment from him. So it was just that abandonment. So when going through friends, and, Kiki, you and I have mutual friends, and even with that, one particular person, it was the same thing. I felt like, I'm giving, and I feel, I'm apologizing for things when things going, thinking I'm the one who did it. And I'm like, you know what? Wait a minute. Hold up. No. That ain't.
I understand, because I catch myself saying I'm sorry a lot, and I'm like, no, I'm not. For what? I'm not sorry. I gotta stop for myself, because everything can't be on. It just can't.
Right. It's not, everything is not, your fault. And that's when I started noticing, again, it all went back to, what? I wasn't a good friend. However, I don't think I was, terrible. Meaning, I felt like at times I would try to put in the effort, but it was always something that pulled me back out, that just brought that wall up again and created that attitude of, pretty much, get out of my face. I don't want to be bothered. Even when Kiki, you and I have known each other since middle school.
Yeah.
And Mo and I met, it's probably about around 7 years ago now.
Yeah.
Right, Mo?
In about, let me see, probably about 2000 and
the kids were
15 or 16.
Because the kids were 3. Okay. They're going on,
3,
they're 10. Okay, yeah. So, around there. And, so, Kiki, you and I had a big break within our, relationship. So here's so I met you in middle school. And that was due to a mutual friend, my best friend at the time. So it was like you had a close relationship with her. You all were closer. And then her and I were closer. You and I spent our little times along with one another. But, the truth of the matter is you met that particular friend first and grew that relationship. So it was like, okay, welcome to, she's going to be a part of our friend group. That's fine. Okay. Hey, Kiki. Kai. Okay.
Right.
Nice to meet you. Okay. That was that. Okay. And then, over years, you grow up, you start really facing real life situations. You're still growing up. You're getting older. Priorities are getting bigger. They're piling up. People start, dealing with things in different ways. We're going through different tests in life. We're experiencing different lessons. We're experiencing just battles within other relationships, and life pulls you away, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then throughout that time, like I said, I met Mo, developed that relationship or whatever. Her and I was close with, I became that person because her and I had a different relationship than all the other parents. And then but I had a relationship with them as well. So it was kind of like, okay, I'm the middle person. So our relationship, went through a little, not I would say a little turbulence, with certain situations or whatever. And then again, that all went back to me because I wasn't able to articulate what was going on with me because I didn't understand. I just knew that I didn't like the way I felt, no matter what day it was, no matter what time it was, no matter what nickname I was going by that day, no matter if it was light outside, dark outside, it didn't matter. I was just not happy. And again, that affected the way I interacted in I don't even want to say certain, in relationships, period. It didn't matter. As a mother, as a friend, as a wife, it just didn't matter. And Mo and I kind of had a little gap because I had just stopped talking to people. I wasn't answering the phone. I wasn't, speaking. If, I would see her in person sometimes. I mean, we would speak, but you know how when you see somebody, you see your friend, you getting out the car, you greet them, right? Okay, well,
right.
It was no greeting for me. And then it put Mo in an uncomfortable place. I mean, I'm speaking real facts here. It put her in an uncomfortable place. It's like, you know what? That's my friend, but at the same time, I'm kind of getting over, I don't know when I can talk to her and when I can't, because she's up and down. If I drop this pen, I don't know if she's going to haul off and just start screaming. It was like any little thing, because I was just trying to find something in my life to go right. That's why I used to get upset. So any little thing at a drop of a dime, I'm like, I'm about to scratch some eyeballs out. So it put her in an uncomfortable situation. I'm surprised she still deal with me to this day. But I'm for real. I don't see how you do it. But what? The pandemic, like I said, I think during that pandemic, that's when we were kind of, we were talking again, and she was hearing from me again. And, eventually, I think it was last year, I was telling her, well, first of all, I had to apologize to her. I had to, because again, remember, for me, during that time, I realized out of all of that drama that, I was going through, whether I was causing it or not, at the end of the day, when I called on Mo and I explained to her what I was going through, it was like she was there. It was like, you know what? And we talked it out. And we still talk about it every now and then, because it's like, I didn't want Mo to think that, I'm just, today I'm okay, but tomorrow I can't promise you that. It's not that. I was going through therapy, still am, seeing my psychiatrist,
nothing wrong with that.
Right. Medications, the dosages are coming down, and that's a good thing, and I was never one to want to be on medication, but I didn't have a choice. And I'm glad I made that decision, because it was just like, I was at rock bottom, but I wanted Mo to also understand that I was sincere on how I, valued her as a friend, because she helped me. It was, like I said, little stuff. She always knows how to come up with a resolution if I'm stuck. I consider myself smart. I know how to do things on my own. I'm grown, I can use my brain and everything, function out of a healthy one. But if I get stuck on something, she had, it was like, I'm coming to the rescue. I'm coming. She's just like an older, like a older sister for me. She's not that much older, but
you don't find that often in a friend, so that's good.
Exactly. So it was like, okay, you helped me. Shoot, I'm talking about down to the face wash, to like where the kids' party is booked now. Well, who came up with that? Mo. And I'm like, I don't think I can live without her.
That is good. See, that's a friend right there. That's a ship. That's a good ship.
Like, and for me, you both play, like Kiki, you're like that too. But you know how we're all good at something, and then even may not even be that we're not good at it. It could, how things in life is taking you in a different direction, for the moment. So right. It's like, I can't help that right now. I got this going on over here. I got this going on over here. I see how at one time I'm like, does Mo is she under any kind of stress at all? Cause she like, girl, you just need to chill. Girl, you just need, I'm sitting up here like,
I don't be let too much bother me.
She just and you can tell in her voice, she's just laid back. Now she gonna,
just like, girl,
yeah, she can get up there. I'm not saying she ain't gonna, she's not, she can't get there, but it's like it when you can learn from someone and see how they react, you're like, well, dog, she ain't reacting, she ain't letting nothing, stress her out. I want to get to that point in my life, because I'm tired of feeling how I'm feeling. So I just always looked up to that, and I never forgot. Even when I was going through, like I said, it was like watching it was like God was just replaying that movie in my head. Like, I'm about to show you something. I'm getting ready to show you who's getting ready to come with you and who you gonna have to leave behind, or vice versa. Because everybody, some people just in your life for a season, and I had to be okay with that. And then fast forwarding, to currently, it's like, I don't trust people. I'm having a hard time with that. I'm having a hard time with trusting people, because new people that I attempt to let into my life, they have lacked in gaining my trust. I'll put it like that. And one person for me in particular really started the party, because I gave around 8 months of over and over again, right? Helping. And then until one day, excuse my language, but the ass was seen. Pretty much, they showed
they show you who they are the person.
Right.
You gotta believe.
Right, they showed it, and I had to instantly, because I'm like, you know what? I gave 8 months. You ain't gonna make a year. You're not gonna make a year. And then after that, you know, when you run into that situation again, and it's crazy because you have these conversations with these people, and they say, well, you know, everybody ain't meant to go with you. Everybody ain't do. Everybody. And I'm like, you know, while we're giving this advice, we need to understand that the same rules apply to us. So if you're telling me, hey, you don't need to be worrying about them. They gone for a reason. God removed them because they XYZ. And then you turn around and you do the same exact thing.
Mm-hmm.
So now my question is, do you remember that conversation? So if you would ask me, you know, well, what happened and everything, I'm like, well, you gave me advice on how to handle people like that, and you became one. So
You became.
what did I do wrong?
Mm-hmm.
You're not hurting me like that. I can't, you know, if you're not putting in the same energy, then don't you can't expect for someone to just give and you're not giving back. And it's not about keeping count and keeping tabs and keeping marks you just got 4, I got 5. No, it's not about that. It's just about the energy and the time, you know, that you put in, you know. So
it's
draining. And so going through that, I'm just like, I'm good with a very small, simple circle. I'm good with that. But I think for me, you know, getting back to what is considered a healthy relationship and or friendship, however you want to word it, you know, it's about it's about setting boundaries, healthy boundaries. I think all of us should have those boundaries set. Being able to resolve, you know, issues in a healthy manner, because it's hard interacting with other imperfect human beings. That's just bottom line. We're not perfect. We're not going to always.
That is true.
Right, Mo?
Yes, especially when you've grown and the other person has grown to where you are. It's it makes it hard for you. Well, for me anyway. I don't know about y'all, but I'm like, I can't. It irks my nerves.
Yeah, I feel the same way. It makes me feel the same way. And you know, I used to think that I didn't have the right to even speak on this because, like I mentioned, I wasn't always a good friend. I couldn't give. You know, anything. And so I just felt like, well, dog, how you gonna get up here and, cause you all right now, you learning, you know, about boundaries and how to be a good friend and thinking about others, you know, except for yourself and whatever. How you act like you always been grade A or something. And I was scared to speak on it. And I think sometimes, like even now, I still feel like that, even though I'm speaking on it. But the other side of me is like, really? So I struggle with that.
Even if you look at it, it's almost like you're traumatized. You're still getting over trauma.
I never look. I didn't look at it like that. Dog. So yeah, I'm struggling. So I know I did state that I was going to explain to, you, Kiki and Mo, about current events that happened while we're speaking on what's considered healthy relationships and everything. This past weekend was just mind-blowing. And when I say mind-blowing, it was to the point where Brian and I, we were almost speechless. Okay? It was just drama coming from both sides of the family.
Oh, wow.
And yes, and it was like neither one of us were it wasn't like we, how you're involved, but you weren't the ones that, it's nothing that we started or, it just didn't have anything to do with us. At the end of the day, this wasn't something that we brought on to anybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
However, we felt like it was unfair because not only were we not the ones to blame for anything that happened, but the energy that it just felt like the energy we had just sucked it in. And we were so uncomfortable. We had gotten thrown off balance. And it was because of our family members. And we were like, we were restless. We weren't going to sleep till 6 a.m. and got to get back up, go to his mom's house, or something's going on, or this is going on. And it was just so draining.
Wow.
And, it was things dealing with his brother, his sister, and, our kids. And it was just like, our parents. And it was like, why are we feeling like our body's getting beat down, just beat, and we ain't the ones bringing, we ain't doing nothing to nobody. And
right.
So, over that whole 4th of July weekend, we get to that Monday, which is the 4th, and I have spoken to both of you all about wanting my parents, which is, the kids' grandparents, to, be more involved as grandparents in our kids' lives.
Right.
And I also mentioned, I wasn't the only one feeling like that. It was, you got all of your, both of your daughters and their spouses feeling like this. Okay. So we're talking amongst ourselves and we're like, we're just not satisfied with this. We want our kids to experience what we experienced, growing up with our grandparents. Right.
Right.
And we understand that everybody is different. We understand that. But we missing something here. So the energy, we're off balance. We're waking up. We're just, when you feel heavy energy, it's draining your energy. You trying to do, but you're moving slow. You're trying to keep up with everything, but you're just in this mood
right.
that is like, you know what? I don't even want to deal with nothing. I don't want nothing to come my way. And you like, Lord, I'm telling you now. It's like we were starting to threaten God. Like, listen up here, bro. We can't take too much now, because now I have gotten triggered because some of the issues, even that, that his, that was going on in his family, is I'm going through it right now. So I got triggered again, which caused me, by Sunday, I was like, And so that Sunday I had, that Monday came around. I was like, okay, my grandmother and my aunt is up here. We didn't make it to my sister's house because we had committed to some other things, and it wasn't a big deal or whatever, because I had already told her we had some plans.
Right.
Went to my mom's, I said, I don't feel like going, but I'm going to go. I don't feel like it, but I'm going to go ahead and go. I need to see my grandmother while she up here. I mean, she's 90 plus years old. I just want to see her and spend as much time as I can. Mind you, my energy is thrown off. Okay? Put on some little clothes. Tell the kid, y'all come on, let's just ride 5 minutes away. Let's see, whatever. I walk into the house. They had just gotten comfortable, from getting in from my sisters or whatever. I sit down, after hugging, whatever. I haven't released. My mom answered the door, but I went in talking to my aunt, my grandmother. So I'm really not saying anything to my mom because now I done got triggered. So now I'm like looking at her like, I ain't really feeling you right now. Right? But at the same time, I'm like, Kylan, don't you do it. Don't you start no drama. Don't you do it. Don't you do it. Say whatever you need to say, but you better find a way, respectfully,
Right.
I wasn't budging. I wouldn't say that. I was kind of sitting and I was talking to my grandmother, my aunt, and then something they said, they was telling me about, because, I'm going through some little things with, the oldest girl, but that's just more of her trying to mature into, an adult and, her learning, that she, okay, so I was saying, dealing with, what we're dealing with the oldest girl, it's like she doesn't like the boundaries that were put in place and set on her for the first time. So that was like, what? Huh? Yeah, whatever. So she was there. We were not. And they obviously had a talk. My family had a talk with her to get her to see her actions and what, just trying to explain to her and get through to her. So they were catching us, filling me in on that. And then I said something to the fact of, so did my sister mention anything else? Just wondering. And they were like, no, or whatever. And I don't know what was said after that, but right after that, it prompts me to bring up basically, the whole grandparent thing. So my mother was sitting there, whatever. So I have my mother, my aunt, and my grandmother. Okay. My aunt, who is my mother's sister, and then my grandmother, who is her mother. So it's like now I'm looking at the three of them. Okay. So it's like three against one. But the way I was feeling, I just didn't care. I needed to let it out.
Right.
And yes. And I just went. I didn't get loud or anything, but it was getting tense. Very tense. and you could see the defensiveness. Everything was coming out, and I'm just thinking about, I'm like, don't start any drama. Do not pull that card out of your pocket. You are
having a war in your head.
Right. It's like, stay on track, ma'am. Stay on track. You remember, this is we done we passed all that, you know? And so it came to a point where some words started to fly. And I had to, as my mom said, had to check her really quick. Yes, her daughter. Had to check her about something really quick, because I didn't want the kids. It was a situation to where I didn't want the kids to witness anything, you know, just, they were already there in the house and could hear, you know, us talking or whatever. And I just didn't want to drag them, have like a front row seat.
Right.
And my, you know, again, because this was about grandparents. So I think, you know, at the time, my mom, you know, she was in her feelings. And I'm going to add on to why she was in her feelings too. She was in her feelings. And, you know, I guess she just wanted to get to ask, you know, the kids a question or whatever. And I had to check on that. Like, nope, we're not doing that. Basically, they're not getting pulled. Like I said, having a front row seat. The energy is too tense right now. No. And I stood, yes, I stood 10 toes down on it. Because I knew that wasn't right. I knew it. I knew that she just wasn't thinking. My mother wasn't thinking. And I made the comment to her at the time. I said, you are way too smart for that. I did. I did. And this is me talking to a strong Black woman. I'm talking about, I told you, I always compare her to like Claire Huxtable. So imagine me saying that to Claire Huxtable. I just was like, because it was out of her character. It was out of her character. And I knew that's not what she wanted to do. But let me back up. So before I said anything, I didn't realize that my sister had already came at her. I didn't know. So for her,
like, what you mean?
Yes.
Like in your defense, or
she came at her with her issues about being a grandparent, like how she felt.
Okay.
Yes. So at that moment, you know, she had already felt like she was being attacked from my sister. So when I came at her, it was like, oh my God, like I'm getting attacked by both of my children at this point. And that's never happened. Mind you all, we have never been in this place before. Okay. So emotions were high. We weren't yelling and screaming, but you know, the voices were raising, and you know, you got the women, and we, you know, like we ain't backing down. Okay. Trying to get our points across. And at one point she had said something like she didn't remember something in the conversation, or I didn't say, or whatever. And I looked at her and I'm like, are you serious? And it was like after the second or third time, I was like, you know, and I said these words, I said, you know what? And I was grabbing my purse. I was like, I'm going, because I can't. Because I don't want to be made out like I'm a liar, you know? And so I start walking towards the door. I'm telling the kids, you know, get your stuff. Let's go. And then I hear her say something back. No wonder where, you know, my daughter got it from.
Oh, baby.
And then I heard, no wonder my daughter has issues. Yeah. That's what she said.
Where she think it comes from?
And then I turned around slow from the door. And matter of fact, when she said, when I was like, I heard her say, well, bye. And when I heard her say that, I was standing at the door, I started chuckling, like laughing, because it was funny to me. It was. It was just funny. I hear something funny, I'm laughing. So I kind of chuckled, and I closed the door back, locked it, and I walked back in slowly. Because I heard my aunt say something, and that's what kind of pissed me off, because at this point it's like, now these are women. Now I have a close relationship with my aunt. I'm talking about, like, you know how you call that aunt and talk to about everything and be on the phone, and I'm feeling attacked, because again, I got her mama, her sister, and her, and I'm just the daughter, the niece, and the grandchild handling this. My sister ain't there. Brian's not there at the time. I'm on my own. Right? So I walk, but I don't give me the confrontation. I don't go looking for it, but I ain't afraid of it. So I went in slow, and I pointed my finger at both of them. I pointed my finger at my mama and said what I said. I said whatever to the comment that she made. And then I pointed my finger at my aunt and made reference said something to her, in regards to the comment she made. And so I'm feeling, my body is so overheated at this point. And I just stand there, and I'm talking kind of calm, but like, I'm not about to put up with this either. And I remember stepping back and leaning against the counter, because that was the moment where I caught myself. I said, you know what? I'm getting ready to apologize right now for my actions, because I know I didn't deliver this well. I know I didn't. I could have said it differently. I chose not to. And I can give advice to other people all day long, but for me, and I'm pretty sure many other people, have this same challenge, but when it comes to dealing with my own stuff with family, it's different, because they're my family and I have ties to it. And to somebody else, I can say, well, X, Y, and Z, because I don't have any emotions attached to it. I don't have anything attached to that. I can just give you the advice and you go on and handle your business. But when it comes to me, the emotions start kicking in, the hurt starts kicking in, and so it affects my deliverance sometimes. So it'll come out, different from what I wanted, originally planned it to be. And so I backed down, and right then and there, I said, you know what? Because my mother, she was upset, she was mad, but even with that, I could tell that my ego was gone, because I was reacting in that moment, and handling it in a different way than I would have, before, I got my act together. So I apologized to her right then and there for my behavior. You know what I'm saying? And addressed, and I said, because if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Tell me. Because that's one thing. You call me out, whatever, I'm not gonna give you the satisfaction of trying to hide it or cover it up. I'm sorry, at this point. That has changed. Used to be, but that has changed. So I'm wrong. And I said what I said. And so you could tell from that moment, things came down. It came down. And we were able to, talk it through more. I was able to understand where she was coming from, how she was perceiving things, and vice versa. And then my aunt, I just, and I was apologizing to my granny. I'm like, I apologize for pulling out my diva card in front of you, but we got problems. That's what I told her. And we kind of, you kind of lighten the mood up and you get to a resolution. Right. Yeah, we just had to address it. But in that moment, my aunt even told me, she started crying. She was like, I am so proud of you. She started crying because they couldn't believe what they were seeing from me. Because if that had been girl, I would have snatched my stuff out there, snatched my kids, been hollering, screaming, pointing my finger, getting on whatever, because I got to have the last word, walked out the house, slammed the door. I just would have been a straight up drama queen. But I didn't. I turned right back around real slow. And I said, you know what? Okay. Yeah. This ain't the way to do it, because I came here for a resolution. I didn't come here to act out and be drama and walk out the door. That's why I turned back around, because I want change. So it was just the right now.
That was a lot. That was a lot and intense to have to deal all at once.
Yeah.
So that was big of you to actually apologize in the moment.
Mm-hmm. I was just getting ready to say that, Mo. That's definitely big. Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm. I had to, but right now, I am in the position where I am supporting. I'm not involved. I can't, whatever. You know how you can support, but everybody has to address their own, speak for themselves or whatever. And pretty much things have been pulled from under the rug that should have been pulled years ago. And this is what I wanted, to be honest with you guys. This is what I wanted, because, and we're not finished yet. It's a process. The family, you know, I'm trying to be there for my sister, because she is now, you know, she was the one that was always, oh, it's okay, it's cupcakes and rainbows. And I was the one like, no, it ain't. No. You know, she would just cover it up. Oh, just everybody get along. And I'm like, we about to be mad. And I think she is just now getting out of that. And she may have learned from me when I started setting boundaries and like, and dealing with your issues and speaking up. I've been preaching it for a couple of years now. And I think maybe she's taking some of that in, and she's starting to open up her eyes for herself and like, you know what? You like, wait a minute. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, you don't need to keep that stuff balled up. You know, again, having a healthy relationship, we're not going to see eye to eye with everything, but we got to learn how to work it out. And either we agree or we agree to disagree, and learn how to compromise and move on, and don't look back. Don't hopper on the past. But we have to work those things out. So now I tell them, when things come up, we need to deal with it right then and there. So, you know, like I said, the family right now is, my sister is still, she's hurt, and she said she just needs to take a break. You know, she's taking a break from from everything. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's just a lot. You know, having to deal with our oldest daughter. It's just, on top of everything else, I just feel like I'm personally pulled. And, you know, I've called on both of you all like, look, this is what's going on. I need advice. I'm not feeling it, you know. It's just heavy. And it's just crazy, because we had talked about speaking about this before all this happened. I'm like, wow, that is very, very on time, isn't it? You know, like,
do you have a journal? One of my mentors told me that, you know, just start journaling and kind of clear your head.
Yeah, and I do have to. I started, and then, you know, again with that, I'm not consistent, because I wasn't this, you know, and I don't want to make an excuse, because it's like you don't make excuses anymore. Just do it. But I have to be consistent. I don't even want to start talking, well, I'm not used to it. I wasn't used to it. It's nothing. I pick up a pen and write every day or other stuff. Why can't I, write down what's going to help me or be therapeutic? So it's not even an excuse. But, y'all, like I said, I know you all have dealt with things. You're dealing with things now. And I'm just really trying to figure out what's going on because I'm kind of confused with people revolving in and out of my life because it's not long term now. It's only lasting a couple of weeks and they out. Here comes somebody, couple of weeks, you're entering, and then I'm like, nah, like I don't understand what's going on. It's like after a while you're fine, and then next minute it's like ghosted, and you're like, okay, is it me?
No, I feel you. The other day, I think it was sometime last week, I had posted it. I think I put my phone on Do Not Disturb. I have never done that before. Now my daughter, her phone stays on Do Not Disturb. Now, I have to keep calling her maybe twice. She finally put me on the list to get through. But when I tell
not
you,
on the list.
Yeah, honey, you know how you get added to the list of people that can come through, they can get through.
Yes,
you
my phone be on Do Not. Yes, ma'am. I am a frequent user. Do Not Disturb for sure.
Me too.
And I understand it now. I said, baby, that was the best thing I have ever done in life.
So how are you feeling, Kiki? Like, what's going on with you? And you're learning different ways to protect your peace with dealing with people and all these different relationships. How are you handling that?
With putting my phone on Do Not Disturb, because it's like you were saying, you're being pulled in every direction. And I felt like everybody always calling, can you do this? Can you do that? Can you do this? Can you do that? And it's like, okay, so when am I going to have time to do what I need to do for myself? And that goes along with what you were saying about setting boundaries. You just have to say no. And I'm really learning that. I'm really learning how to say no without explaining the no. Would it just be no? And that's it.
With no explanation. Yeah.
With no explanation. I just can't. No. So putting my phone on Do Not Disturb. And then it's crazy because when I took it off and all the messages and stuff I had, everybody's like, are you okay? Why did you do it? Why you had your phone? I said, I have my phone on Do Not Disturb. Why did you have it on Do Not Disturb?
What?
Because I don't want to disturb. But it's like they felt like they did something wrong for my phone being on Do Not Disturb. But it allowed me all the messages, like what I was getting in daily and the notifications and stuff. And I was like, you know what? I needed that time to sit and reflect and figure out what I had to do to set boundaries and to listen to God, because I felt like that was taking me away from listening to him, praying and stuff, and then not giving him time to answer back. So that day that was like a whole meditation day. I said, oh, babe, I got to do this often.
Yeah, because
so it was good.
Yeah, like I said, like you interacting or, wearing as many hats as you do, as we all do.
Right.
Everybody, again, that imperfect human, we're all imperfect human beings. All of us are. And it is it's a challenge to interact because we're all going through different things. We're feeling different things at different times, and we're not all on one accord. We're not all happy all at once. We're not all angry at once. Some of us are happy. Some of us are sad, and that can cause friction and tension and, and it's like, I'm scared to step on toes,
Mm-hmm. Right. And women get pulled in so many directions. It's almost like you're supposed to. This is what you're supposed to do. I'm like, no.
Right.
It's not it. This is not it, baby. Mm-mm.
We have to learn how to, well, first we have to recognize that we're human. All of us are human. Okay. We're not all the same. Okay. Our paths are different. They might look similar, or we might end up doing the same thing as far as what God calls us to do, but that doesn't mean our path is the same. Get in there. And we just have to be considerate of other people. We have to learn how to not take things personally. But the flip side of that is the ones who are hurting at that time, who are suffering, who are going through something, who does have their phone on do not disturb in that moment. We have to learn how to, we have to keep in mind how we're treating other people while we're going through that. I think it's a two-way street. It's yes, I'm not feeling it. I'm depressed or I'm stressed right now. I'm not happy like you right now, but it's okay to tell somebody, you know what? Hey, I know I haven't answered your call, whatever, but I just want to let you know it's not you, but I do need time, and that's it. You don't have to go into detail explaining. We don't have to do that. But sometimes, like how I feel, like what I have done to people and what other people have done to me, not answering the phone. I had a friend that was driving all over the world looking for me to show up to my mom's house because she was scared something happened. And that was a lesson for me. I was like, you know what? I don't want anybody feeling like that. Let me just pick up the phone. Let me just send a text. I'm okay. I'm just processing whatever. I just need time to myself, okay? And let it be alone. But so to put them at ease, because it was that my mom, she stated that when another friend of mine had showed up to her home, it scared her. She told me that she thought, something had happened to me because I had, been vocalizing that I didn't want to live anymore and things like that. And so that was my way of just keeping other people's, feelings in mind, because she was so scared. And she said, you scared me. And the friend was like, I didn't know I was scared. I didn't know, and I'm like, you know what? I can take 12 seconds to just say, either leave me alone right now. I ain't feeling it. I'm alive and I'm okay. But I just can't right now. So for me, that's how I choose to handle things now because of that situation. And I never want anybody to feel like that. Discomfort and scared of what happened to my friend or what's going on or my child. I'm not doing that. So, I just try to think about other people's feelings a lot. And I think that stems from, again, going back to how I treated people. I didn't care about anybody's feelings. It's just I wanted the attention all on me. So, that's why I stress to you all, like making sure you tell Mo, you see what, she's going through, with her job and stuff, it's stress. I'm like, you need to make sure you take time to reset and, kick your feet up, and get you some rest and just recuperate and just because your mental is important. Same thing with you, Kiki. Like, I'ma just go ahead and say it. I need you two in my life. Because
girl, don't make me cry. I'm a cry baby.
Because I have to have people in my life that can, that can just keep light. You know what I mean? Help me see the light. And then I do the same. I have to have that. I have to. You know, it's hard for me to trust people. You all are the oldest friends that I have, including, Carla, whatever. But out of the three of you all, you all go through your stuff or whatever. But it's like I have to. And I'm, in order for me to live life, I just have to keep myself surrounded with people who are positive, even going through their own stuff. You all are still, positive people. At least that's how I view you two, as friends.
And that goes back to who's in your circle.
Yeah.
So you got to be mindful who's in your circle.
Yeah.
Is everybody for you?
Yeah. And I'm also, I feel like I'm seeing things too. I'm noticing that in current situations, bringing other people around or whatever, I am going to be I'm going to be more careful with that, because I don't want to bring, and it's not that you're looking for it, but sometimes people they just fall into the circle. I'm not, you don't look for it, but that can happen is what I'm saying. But you have to let the universe orchestrate that, and not force people, because it's like, I'm learning that you have to treat your circle, I don't care how big it is, it's sacred. And you have to protect it. It's almost like letting anybody into your home. You wouldn't let anybody into your home. Mo and Kiki, y'all ain't letting nobody into y'all home. Y'all gonna I'm sorry, why are you here? What do you want? And who called on you? That's y'all. So it's like, for me, on my part, I'm like, you know what? I'm not shaking up my circle. I'm not shaking up my circle. It's too much in and out and just up and downs, and to where none of that was going on before. You know what I mean? And that don't sit well with me when I think about that. And I just want to protect my circle. I want to continue to practice, having healthy communication with friends, family. I'm not, like I said, it's still things on my side, on my end, that I have to do and to confront, and I've been pushing it off. Because like I mentioned, I've spoken to my mother and everything, and things are kind of, we're good. But, again, my sister, she's dealing with her thing on her own. It's fine. Take time, take a step back. Mom, you take time, take a step back. Because I was the daddy's girl and my sister was the mommy's baby. So that's awkward for them. You know what I mean? So they're just trying to, work that out, because that whole grandparent thing, that was a big thing for us. But on top of that, we have unresolved issues with our father. So it's like we're now dealing with these things, and it's not easy. It's not easy. It's not easy to have, these much needed conversations, but you just get to the point where you're like, let's not be behind the bush. Let's not try to sugarcoat things. Let's deal with it. But we got to be able to deal. We have to, in order to deal with things, in order to have healthy conversations, healthy resolutions, you got to come with your authentic self. I'm sorry. There is no way You have to be ready to just lay it out there and deal with it. Because from experience, when the other person ain't bringing their authentic self, ain't bringing the truth, ain't nowhere I can go with that.
Right. And that's what's wrong with it. And I'm just saying, I want to say I'm proud of you because that's big. So that's what's wrong with a lot of people. You know, they tiptoeing around, don't want to talk about anything that's happening within the family, sweep it up under the rug. And that's what's wrong with a lot of people from, growing up. And it carries on into your adult life. So you carry that on to your children like it's a whole cycle. Mm-hmm. But if we could just sit down and talk about it. So for you to know that, okay, this is a problem. I can't take it no more. We need to sit and talk about this and be adults. So that's very big.
Yeah, and I think it's worth it. I mean, feathers are going to be ruffled. Like you said, like I said, my mom was in a defense, and I was, and we weren't hearing, because people perceive things differently. Everybody doesn't perceive things how you perceive it. And so that's important too. You have to look at it hear the person out. You have to hear, and that's another thing, y'all. When somebody is talking, we hear, but are we listening? Because we're so ready, we're focusing on, okay, what we gonna say next, what I'm gonna say next, what I'm getting ready to say. When, you talking, I'm waiting my turn, No, that's not gonna work either. Just pause, just listen. Just listen to the story like you listening to somebody read a book to you or something. Listen. Just listen. We're not doing enough of that. And again, that's part of, for me, to me, that's representing, that's part of having a healthy relationship, being able to listen to one another, talking it out. Right. And taking that person's feelings into consideration. Like how you're treating them, your tone, how you looking at them, how you, and then trust too. Am I talking to you and you, when we hang up or when I leave you can't wait to get on the phone with somebody else and start gossiping about me?
So true.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And then it comes back around, because it will come back around. And that's what people don't realize. Right. You think it's good, and I'm right, because I didn't say, and you gossiping and I never know about it. No, you gonna know. You trust me. What's done in the dark comes out in the light. You're going to find out about it some way, somehow.
Mm-hmm. And I know your mom and your aunt were probably really shocked, because now as I'm sitting here thinking about it, most likely back in their time, they was always told, go sit down somewhere, stay out of grown folks' conversation, don't talk, don't do this. So from hearing that from you on how you feel, they probably were never able to say that. They probably never able to express how they felt to their parents.
Yeah.
But that makes sense.
A lot of people back in that time, that's how it was, especially in our, in the Black and brown community.
Right.
And, even with men, when we get in these relationships, just automatically, because, us as women, we're emotional creatures, and we're like, okay, I want, and a lot of times we forget that just maybe they mental ain't right either. Because they were told to they got to be the man. They have to be strong. You better shut up and you better not cry.
Shut up
and be quiet.
Don't be crying. Toughen up.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, having these healthy talks would really, really, like you mentioned, Kiki, you mentioned generational curses and stuff like that. You got to break, curses or cycles, however you want to put it. We got to break them at some point.
Yeah, and it's not all about money. A lot of people say you got to break generational curses as far as money. That's true, but majority of them are situations that you're talking about. A lot of stuff that goes on in the family that's not talked about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
about a lot of stuff.
Right, and keeping secrets from our kids. Oh, we don't need to. Or you expect your child, you don't open that door to where they can come and talk to you and like, you know what, this house is sacred. So if you need to express yourself or whatever you need to do to let things out, and of course you teach your kids how to properly do that. But it's like, for us, it's like, with us, we tell them, hey, whatever you go, remember, in this house, you can say what's on your mind. If anything is bothering you or whoever, and I tell you, if you don't talk to me or dad or whoever, talk to somebody, please. If you don't feel comfortable with, please talk to somebody. Don't hold it in. Don't hold it in.
Yes.
And our kids, you'll tell, you can talk to us as parents. You can talk. You can feel comfortable. You don't have to feel, scared to come and talk to me. And they may agree and say, yeah, I know. But it might be that one thing they were like, you know what? I know my mom or dad said this, but I don't feel comfortable. And that's fine. And that's why I mentioned, in that case, please talk to somebody. And that's what I was trying to get through, to our oldest daughter. It's like, you can say what you need to say, but I'm going to tell you like this. You're not going to come at me or us like that. It's a way you say it and how you say it. You need to check yourself.
Yep. Right.
Well, check yourself. So, okay, let me ask y'all this. When it comes to supporting one another in a relationship, any relationship, I'm talking about support. Mo, let me ask you, what you think? How does that look for you? What does that mean?
Emotional support for me? That's a tough one.
Well, not emotional, but just support in general. Just support. Just support. Yeah.
Honestly, because it's always been, you need to be the strong one or whatever.
Yeah.
It's never really been that real support system for me to say, okay, I can lean on. It's been, friends throughout the years or whatever, but then, everybody as a friend, sometimes throughout the years, is they have their own objective. So not really listening to you, really listening to you. So having that type of support, it's just really kind of really, honestly, been on my own, really. Because, when you try to really express yourself to people, whatever, do they really get you? Or do they already have their own opinion about who you should be or what you should be? Or what you should be doing, excuse me. So I don't think I've never really had that support where it's just been totally just not objective, if that's the term.
So you
where it's just a total, just no judgment, no nothing, just all right, I'm here, I'm listening, and okay, this is what you're going through. no judgment, no nothing. I've never really had that really because with my family, very judgmental family, extremely judgmental about everything. So I never really had that family unit, sort of say. I think that's why I stay a lot away from my family because of that. And in different relationships or whatever, and this relationship that's like boyfriend, girlfriend, and friends, because that's a relationship. Like either way you want to look at it, it's still some type of relationship. It's a lot of my relationships have been with guys or whatever, as far as my friend. And then like, you come and, you express how you feel or whatever, but it was always like an objective behind it. It was never like considered like genuine. So support, not really. It just kind of really just work stuff out on my own and just kind of really work through it.
So you never had the support like from, especially family and even with friends, you never had like just people supporting you for what you wanted to do and who you wanted to be and them rooting for you?
Not without the opinions of, well, you sure that's what you want to do? Or
I get that.
If I was you, I wouldn't do that, or I would do it this way. That's what I'm saying. Not that total genuine type of no judgment. So no, never.
Wow. I feel you on that. Unfortunately, I feel you on that. Yeah, that's why these relationships are the way they are. That's why people are acting out the way they are. Or feeling, going back to people feeling like they're alone. Unfortunately, a lot of people die by suicide because of that. They don't have, anyone supporting them, anyone rooting for them, and then no one ever validates their feelings or anything. It's just like Mo said, oh, if I were you, I wouldn't do that. You sure? It's like all these questions. Like, dude, and if I mess up, I mess up. Just if I mess up, just help me dust myself off and say, just try again. Like, I know that's why I was acting out, because I didn't get that either. So that's why I was like, I feel her on that, Mo, you just took a different route with it than I did.
Yeah, it made me to the point where it's just like, that's why you just like, oh, you don't, seem like you just stressed out about nothing and stuff like that. I mean, because it just got to the point where it's just like, shit, whatever.
Yeah.
So, I mean, because I've been at a place where I had nothing.
Yeah.
Like, nothing. Like, nothing as like a grown adult. And, you just like, shoot, like I've been there. Can't nothing or nobody stress me out like that. Like you go through your little stressful moments or whatever, like how work, you get stressed out about like how my boss just out of the blue at 3:00 said, hey, I need for you to put a whole presentation together for 11 a.m. So, that's just like, really, really, lady, that's what we doing. So that's just that stress. But like stress where it's just like, man, I don't know what I'm gonna do tomorrow or how I'm gonna get through the next week. I don't carry that kind of stress because I've been, when I say all the way down, like I've been all the way down. Like I think I've mentioned this to you, Kyle, before, but like I was in a terrible accident. Like I shouldn't have made out alive. I shouldn't be walking. I honestly shouldn't be breathing. These children he took his mother's car and they snuck to the store, and they weren't supposed to be driving. They were like 16, 15, and I think 14. And I was coming down the street, and I was on my way to go get a background check. So I just got this job. Like I just got a job, and I just rolled my window up, and I don't know, looked down or something. I was like, oh man. I remember like I threw my hands up. I was like, oh man, I just got hit. And me being hit, I got hit enough where it spent my car to hit their car, and my car flipped down the street and slid. After it flipped, it slid all the way down the street on my side of the vehicle.
Oh,
and it eventually toppled over on top of the car. And I got out of the car with a busted lip.
Oh.
So when people be like, oh, I'm stressed out, look here. I'm stressed out about stuff like that. Because when I go back because I have pictures of that car. And when I go back and I look at that car, and I'll be like, I look at my car, then I look at the other car that was in the accident, and I shouldn't even be here, honestly. So a lot of stuff that people be really driving themselves to stressing themselves out, you got to think about like somebody else is having it way worse than you having it because one of the kids in the car didn't make it.
What?
And of course, I was blamed for it.
What?
Like crazy. Yeah, I was blamed for it. The family sued me. Was sued my insurance, not me personally, but they sued me and totally slandered. Thank goodness at the time there was not this whole such thing as Instagram and all this other kind of stuff. Because I'm pretty sure my name would probably been plastered all over the internet. So I can't downplay nobody from getting, stressed out because everybody moves different in this world. But for me, when you go through stuff like that and then when you all the way down, when you for real don't have nothing, you get to a point where you look and you be like, stressful who? Hey, if I ain't got it, I ain't got it. Let's move. If this happening, hey, move aside. If this person acting stupid, hey, I just don't deal with you no more. How about that? You know what I mean? Like, I don't invite that into my life like that. So, yeah, I don't think I ever told you about the accident, but that's what plays a real big, huge. The only thing that I get stressed out about is if somebody tell me that they going somewhere and I pick that phone up and I call you, you don't answer that phone more than once, more than twice, then I'm getting stressed out. I'm getting nervous. I'm getting anxious. Why you ain't answering the phone? And then I'm angry and I'm upset about how you do answer the phone. That'll be the only thing that be really having me like really nervous and stressed out. Like that will stress me out. Like really stress me out. Like I be really yelling and my face be hurting type of yelling. So yeah.
Dang. Girl.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That was real deep.
Yeah, I didn't know about. I don't think. I didn't know about the accident. I didn't know about the accident.
Yeah, it just gives me. It's a whole thing to reflect on, and just going through that, and then crawling out of the car because when the car stopped, all I heard was just like a lot of people like screeching their tires. So my first mind was I was on the opposite side of the street of oncoming traffic. So I was really nervous about that. So like when I called out the car or whatever, it was this man sitting on the side. He was just like, "Come here, I got you. You okay? You okay?" And you know, sitting on the side of the street, like, what happened? What's going on? And then again, because black girls from jump, you always told, don't cry, you know, be strong, you gotta be strong. And that's always been for me, like, I'm never allowed to like show emotions. So like when my mom showed up, because she thought it was my sister that got in the accident, she was like, you better not start crying, there's no need for you to be crying, you okay? So I took that and I show like no emotion, like zero emotion from that or whatever. Like I didn't have time to process it. I didn't process it. I just went through it and literally just like moved on with like, I've never really had time to process it because my mom just like instantly got on me like, oh, don't cry. No need for you to be crying. You okay? And stuff like that. But
Dang.
I was young. Like I was 20. Shoot. I was 20. I was like about 20. Yeah, because I met Antoine at 23. So I was like 24. So, you know, you young. You know what I mean? Like you young. I mean, shoot, if I even got in something like that now today, y'all gonna have to come pick me up because baby, I don't want to be able to survive that at this age. My nerves would be shot.
If you went through something like that, we would allow you to process your feelings because you had a right. You would have the right to be scared. You would have the right to be shaken up. And again, this is going back to what we're talking about. Healthy relationships. You know, like nobody wants to hear that mess. When somebody is going through whatever right now, validate their feelings. Validate your feelings.
Be okay. Validate it.
Validate it. Sit with it.
Yes.
Sit with it. Let's deal with it. Let's process. Let's cry. Let's whatever. Even if, you know, and then the other person doesn't even need to say stuff half the time. Sometimes somebody just wants you to, instead of talking, just hold them.
Yes, right.
You don't need to say shit. Excuse my language. You don't need to say anything. Just, you know, I'm tired of, it's all right, everybody go through it. I don't give a shit. I ain't everybody. I am me, and this is how I feel right now.
You strong when you'll be all right.
Yeah.
Like, my dad died. You good. You strong. You'll be all right. What type of, what?
You know, it's...
Right.
Like, validate the feelings. And then once that you done, then you say, all right, you know, then you start to try to move away, you know, from that to start to heal and do all of that when a person is ready. Of course, you're not going to, sometimes people can probably sit, well, not people, we can sit and waddle and things for too long a little bit. And sometimes you have to snatch through and say, hey, all right, listen, you know, because you can tell when you need to do that. You can tell and you can gauge when it's time to say, no, this been months, this been years, we ain't doing this. No. You know, let's get you help.
I was just triggered. So it's taking everything in me not to have no attitude right now.
I know, because that's crazy. Because you got to know when to gauge. Because like I said, sometimes you do have to think for somebody real quick to, you know, you got to pull the rug from underneath them when they're sitting too long. Because what you don't want to do is allow that person to sink into a depression. That's what I mean by, you know, allowing it, but it has to be at the appropriate time. You know what I'm saying? But I don't, at the end of when that happens to somebody, when somebody is hurting and they, first things first, you better validate them feelings. Cause everybody should be able to, you know, express, like you said, Kiki, like you know, be able to express their feelings. You don't, you know, I was just telling my husband, like, don't if somebody's going through something or whatever, we were just having a conversation. I said, if somebody comes to you and they're talking, something led up to this conversation. But anywho, I just mentioned to him, be sure to validate that person's feelings before you start talking about, it's going to be all right. Oh, it's going to be, well, you know what? I'm not feeling that right now. I don't need that right now. I don't want to hear that right now because you're generalizing me. Don't generalize me.
Right. Because you might be okay in that situation, but I'm not. So you can't tell me how I'm supposed to feel.
Right. Move how I move. I need your energy to match mine real quick. Now, if you would have hopped up and jumped up and like, I'm good, girl, over there, then I'm like, I wouldn't have probably been like, you good, and been hopping like we jumping up and down. But I would have been like, okay, I'm okay. If you don't want us to cry, we won't cry. If you need to laugh, okay, we'll laugh. I'm just saying, I'm just throwing stuff out there that will help that person in the moment. But something like that, if you was to jump up and somebody start laughing, crying, I'm gonna be looking like, did somebody tell you once before that you don't need to express your feelings? All your thoughts. Is that why you jumping up talking about I'm good? I might be.
You never know because they might be.
Yeah. Because I'm about to remind you, you ain't got to do that. So I'm just saying, you got to gauge and just listen, just be aware, just be in tune to that person right then and there. You know what I mean? And Kiki, you shared, a certain situation with me that I think I had that night had a nightmare. I mean, it's just like people going through stuff and you're looking at it and then if somebody, I just don't understand when people see right then and there that something's going on. You see it. And then it could be a situation when that person needs, medical attention. And then you just say you gonna be all right or gone on by yourself and do it and walk away. It's too much of that going around.
Right. And that taps into mental. Yeah. Ooh. Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just and I know it's been a while, Mo, but I'm sorry you went through that. I am.
I mean, it was. I don't know. It was never a time where I really got to kind of sit and reflect as far as like what had just happened at that moment. I mean, now, we go back and I look at pictures and stuff like that. I still have the pictures when I go back and I look at the pictures. And when I actually have physically finally went out to look at the car, and even then it was just like, nobody really kind of was like, yo, are you all right? Are you okay? How you, feeling? Because, I mean, that was serious.
That was damn right serious.
And on the street, and I had no seatbelt on.
Wait, you didn't have your seatbelt on?
Ooh, girl, that one guy. Jesus.
Mo,
I didn't have a seatbelt on, no nothing. And I balled myself up in the seat because when the car spin, because I felt the car spin, and as soon as it spin, it just went tumbling quick. And I just balled myself up in the car, like in the front seat, in the driver's side, but I just balled myself up in the front seat of the car. I mean, it just never have I been like approached like, you good, you okay, none of that.
So after let me ask you this, with dealing with your family or friends or whatever at the time of the accident, You know, I know you said you just had a busted lip.
Mm-hmm.
So was it like after the accident, it was just like, did everybody act as if, you know, oh, we just gone on back to normal? Like,
Yeah. So I got picked up from the hospital because, you know, they're gonna rush to the hospital to make sure you're good or whatever. But I got picked up, ended up at my sister's apartment some type of way. Wasn't at home for some reason. Ended up over there, and that was it. That was it. Had to, you know, do the whole physical therapy thing and all that or whatever. But nobody really genuinely like, are you good? Because I've always worked, right? Always had my own, always worked. And because of that, like, I think I was out of work for like about like, I think like 6 or 8 months or something like that. So didn't have nothing, like no income, no nothing. So nobody never looked at like, you know, you good because, you know, you can't work because I do the whole physical therapy type of thing to make sure I was straight, because they was just like, you know, things could come up later, which I think I'm catching them late at this age because my knees and stuff be all out of whack. Telling you, my knees be jacked up. But nobody. And that wasn't even the first time. Like years before that, I was on 20 and I was down there coming through the West End and the car was driving. It stopped on the highway on the left hand side. So, you know, if y'all familiar with Tween, there's no emergency lane on the left hand side.
right.
And the car just stopped. It was super early in the morning, like super, super early in the morning. So I was like, okay, what do I do? So I just sat there in the car, and you could hear cars coming up, like screeching, going around, right? So I was like, I gotta get out of the car. I can't sit in the car. So I got out of the car, and I sat on the front of the hood of the car. I was like, no, I can't do that. So I got back in the car. Then I heard it screeching again. So no, I can't do that. So I got out of the car. I walked across the highway. I sat on those little guardrails, and no lie, as soon as I sat down, turned around, this lady came and hit the car so hard that she put the back seat in the front seat.
Oh my God.
And I literally just got out of the vehicle.
Oh, jeez. Oh, man.
So that's what I'm telling y'all, like, people be stressed out. That's giving me chills too, now that I think about it, because I've been in so many situations, where that me complaining, nah, I'm good on complaining. I'm good on stressing out. That's why I don't be taking stuff. Like, I take stuff serious, but like, I don't be stressing out about a lot of stuff. I let a lot of stuff roll off because it's like, hey, if people you want to get out here and act fool and dumb, hey, that's on you. I ain't about to be arguing with you.
Yeah.
I ain't finna be doing none of that junk, because you know what? I'm good. Because it's just a lot of different situations I've been in. Like, that was one situation. Then another situation, I was driving my car down the street on 85. So I was downtown coming up to the split to get onto 85. No, I was on 20 to come up to the split. And my hood flew open, hit the windshield as I was driving on the highway. So, I mean, you start thinking about all this stuff, man. You like, But you know, people know these things about me, whatever. But
scary.
Nobody really asks, you know, are you good? And especially with the real bad accident where I legit flipped over in a car. Nobody really asks, like, are you good? You good? You straight? Like, nobody ever.
And nobody was like, after that, taking, like, I mean, well, I don't know why I keep asking, because you laying it out clear as day. I think I'm just I'm in disbelief.
I know, it's shocking, because you would think people would be like all over, like, you know, really
overly protective of you, like, you sure you're okay, and to get to where it's getting on your nerves, you know?
Nah, you're right. None of that. It's because I was always, you gotta be the strong one. You gotta be the strong one. And you know, I be having to tell this man I got married to half the time, like, yo, I'm not a robot. I have feelings. Like, it's always, you know, you the strong one. So, you know, you don't feel nothing. You don't have no emotion. You good. And when I start to check out, talk to nobody. Like, oh, she mad. No, I'm not mad. I'm just processing what you doing, because at the end of the day, I done learned from my Bible not to trust in no man to get any type of emotional you know, you get your emotional support from any man, and that means human, any man on this earth. That ain't who you put your trust in.
Right. Yeah.
So, you know, when I start, you know, wanting that, you know, super emotional type of thing, you know, I'll be having to take a step back, like, you know what, that ain't where I need to put my trust in. So let me have my time and let me speak to who I need to speak to right now.
Yeah.
Because it ain't you, human. Because you're not going to give me what I want. Because at the end of the day, and I don't care what people say, people are about self.
Yes.
Yes. Look at stuff on how you gonna benefit yourself. You gonna look at stuff on how it's good for you, what makes sense to you personally as a human, on how you processing it for yourself. So when people give you that feedback, it's from what they see from their self. So sometimes when you're looking for something from another human to give you that or whatever, and you get frustrated with that person, you take a step back and like, you know what? It's somebody that's higher than you right now, and that I'm not finna get this from you. So let me just move on my emotions from trying to get it from you right now, because you ain't it.
Yeah.
Girl, yes.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, you have to learn that. So you got to let people, because people are going to be people.
Yep.
Yeah, you just got to go to your higher source. Because,
Yep.
So,
and they got problems too. Like I said,
and they got
imperfect human beings, they acting out, they processing or dealing. They're just using with what all they got and all they know. Not to make it right, not to say it's right or it's an excuse, but that's why it is, you know, like you said, we're too caught up in self. If we took more time, you know, like I mentioned earlier, to think of how someone else is feeling, regardless if we think, because I could be, you know, upset or sad by let's say I don't like this orange pen, okay, and this is making me upset, and you looking like, it's just a pen, oh my god, it's not that serious. Okay, yeah, to you it's just a pen, but to me, you don't know what this means for me. Like, that again, that goes back to validating feelings, because people, you know, that's out, you know, that don't know how to, like, take, for instance, myself, for an example, you know, how I said I just didn't know how to be a good friend or whatever. It was just a domino effect. I was attacking people that most cared and loved me, but I was operating out of an unhealthy brain, and I was just trying to survive. I was just doing what I knew and just using what I what I knew, is I didn't know until I got better. But again, like I said, that's not an excuse, because people got hurt along the way with that too. So regardless if that's all I knew at the time, how to operate, at some point, where do you wake up and realize, like, what?
Right.
And that's why I went on my apology tour. Because it hurt me to the core. It hurt me so bad. We talk about doing shadow work. Well, looking at my shadow was not a pretty process. It wasn't, and it's not. It was hurtful. And that's why people don't want to do the work. It was hurtful. Extremely hurtful. But at the flip side of that, I had to forgive myself. I had to forgive myself and move on. It's nothing I can't. If I had a magic wand and I can go back in time and take it back, whatever, you know what? I probably wouldn't. Hence why? Because I was taught something. I had to go through the test to have a testimony. You have to. So I wouldn't take it back, not to say, oh, I'm just missing feelings. I ain't taking that back. No, that's not it. The other side to it. It was supposed to happen. I had to learn. If I had not, I wouldn't be able to be who I am today, is basically what I'm saying. But, you gotta do the work and just be able to get to that point. And that's when it's, when you're realizing, hey, I'm not, this ain't right. I'm not treating people right, man. I'm taking these relationships and people that's trying to help me, the ones who are trying to help me, the ones who are trying to think of me, throughout their busy day, and I'm just treating them like God knows what. Damn, can I get a thank you? Can I, it's kind of like, why you got to look at me like that? Why you got to have that, what they call that rest and be face?
Right.
Right. Why are you so angry all the time? What have I done to you? But, it is what it is. I had to pray about it. I had to move on, move forward, and then with Mo, even, sharing her story right there with the accident, that, I learned more about her. She was like, I ain't had that. I didn't have that support. I didn't have anybody ask me if I'm okay. I'm always the one doing, going. The one that everybody call on for me to fix this and fix that and do this and do that. And they're not realizing that y'all do know I'm human, right? So the feelings that y'all feel, I'm pretty sure I feel those too. Did you know that? Oh, I'm sorry, you didn't ask. It's like one of those, and I, for me, like, just last week, I guess more recently, I was like, and I told you, I texted you, I said, Mo, and we talked about it too. I said, you need to reset, because she was just getting pulled in so many directions. Kiki, you and I had that conversation. You know what I mean? And I'm like, hey, you need to do the same thing. I go to y'all for advice and y'all tell me and y'all be like, now we ain't talking about this no more now. And to me, that says, well, I better use the advice that was given. Because if I ain't using it, why am I calling them? Why am I telling them? You know what I mean? So, I had to tell y'all, because I heard it. I could feel it. I saw it, whatever. I'm like, reset. And, I was telling, my other half, I'm like, you know what? Cause, everybody being good friends, whatever. I said, as you need to how about you take the lead on this or whatever, because Mo got too much on her plate right now, and I'm already bugging her about this and that, and I don't, the birthday stuff, she about sick of me. She got that job going on, because like I said, she's, good at, certain things. So of course you're going to go to that person that you know is going to help you. But then you like, I can't add nothing else on that plate. I can't ask no more questions, because she gonna bust. But that was me finally being able to recognize, and by listening to her, hey, by hearing how she would just talk, Kiki, at the time, it was like, you know what? No, I'm straight. I ain't gonna ask her nothing about this, because she might not say it, but she thinking it like, if she asked me one
so
more
much
thing.
going on in the middle of the day with people outside of work asking this, and then with work people asking this. I'll be like, man, I won't disappear. But
girl, I'm with you. You gotta come home to something else. I feel you.
You can't disappear. You know why? Because you ain't allowed to. You ain't allowed to feel like you want to disappear.
I know.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you want this. But you want me to give all this energy to you? Nah, bruh. No. No. I did want to add something to that, Kiki. We were talking about family thinking that they are just obligated just because they're family. Obligated for you to invite them here, invite them there, do this and do that. And it's funny because half them folks, they expect that. It goes back to support. You supporting me in my life? Have you, but you think I'm supposed to give you money? Or, like, where were you at when I was struggling trying to make it happen, make my dream happen? Like, I don't.
But want you to come to the cookout and then get mad when you say you ain't coming. For what? What I'm coming for? We gonna drink, have a good time. But that's it. That's it.
I'm like, okay.
I have grown from that.
Right.
Now we talking about growing some money, talking about business now. Okay, I can come. I can sip to that.
I was just getting ready to say, hey, they got the business plan laid out. I was gonna say, so I was gonna ask, you could say, well, you got the business plan laid out? Because that's the only way I'm coming.
Right. Hey, what we gonna do? Are you supporting? Or what? What you got? Not only are you supporting me, what do you have going on that I may be able to support you?
Right.
But I already know you don't have nothing going. Because you're doing the same stuff over and over again. This is all you do. So therefore I can't. Like that's lowering my vibration and my frequency. I can't. I'm too far now to go back. And I already feel like I'm 39 years old, and still I know I'm growing. I see my growth, but you know how you feel like you should be farther than what you are. Yeah. So it's like fooling with you, I can't go back.
Right.
And I'm saying you as in some family members. I can't do that. I'm not the same Kiki that y'all used to.
Right.
I'm okay with that. I just need y'all to be okay with that. If y'all not, I don't know what else. I don't know what to tell you.
Like I said, again, family is for those who support you, uplift you, are there for you no matter what. Just because we have the same blood doesn't make us family. It makes us related. I don't understand. What's the
girl? Say that, baby.
So what do I owe you? Because I don't owe you nothing.
That's a whole nother level.
Baby,
I was just born into the family. That's it.
All right.
Yeah.
So, well, I think we just have to do better with listening instead of trying to speak a lot. We need to do more listening and less talking. Sometimes everything doesn't warrant a conversation. It's not needed sometimes, but you won't know that unless you don't, unless you listen. And like I said, but you have to bring your authentic game with you. You gotta bring your authentic game. You can't. How you gonna heal and you false? I don't understand that.
Girl, come on now.
How you can't preach healing upon yourself or anyone if you're not acknowledging. You have. People are uplifted by testimonies. Okay, people. Like I said, you want to hear the good, bad, and the ugly. But like I said, going back to being able to set healthy boundaries, knowing how to resolve issues in a healthy manner. And, sometimes you can take a step back, take a breather, when it's heavy, but don't let it fester, too long. Don't, it can sit on the floor, but don't sweep it on the rug. You know what I mean? If it need to sit in the pile in the middle of the floor, in the corner, on the floor somewhere where it's still seen, meaning you about to get back to that, because that's a problem, right? But if you sweep it on the rug, you just cover it up, and then you walking away from it, and it's just, you keep sweeping it, you keep sweeping the trash, and now when you lift it up,
Right.
You know what I mean?
I have learned to not go off so much. I have suppressed my alter ego, which is Danielle. She's back, but I have learned to kind of tame her a little bit. I'm really working on her. And I only had to become this person because there's just so much going on, and that's where the no part come in at too.
Mm-hmm.
But I have learned to just say, okay. And I've learned that really pisses people off. I'm just like, okay, and walk away. It's like, oh, you're not going, you ain't got no reaction. You're not going to cuss me out. Okay.
I'm going to let God deal with
energy.
You. Right.
It's not helping me do anything. So, okay.
You're right. And you know what, Kiki? I'm going to piggyback on that. How you walk away, whatever. And you know what? When you do that, and and Kiki, you do a lot of motivational little short videos, and you talk and give affirmations and things like that, in which I am posting her little short videos because I want to mix up the channel, not just, we don't want to just, for the listeners and people starting to follow, whatever, we want to mix it up, with just different types of videos to catch just different people out there. Everybody is not the same, and you talk a lot about shadow work and listening to God, and you do a lot of those things. And with that, people can look at that and say, well, I know she not gonna do all that because she with God and this and this and that, and she not gonna waste her energy or whatever. And the people that don't have brains, or let me not say that. Let me say don't have brains, who are not using their brain at the moment. They'll take that and say, well, and they'll take advantage of you, and they'll think, if I bring this to her, I come at her, she ain't gonna do nothing. She ain't gonna whatever, because God, whatever. But I'm gonna tell you like this. That's not true. That ain't true. So I'm gonna say this right now. I'm gonna say this right now. Just because somebody is rocking with God, I'm talking about hard and all the way, don't mean they cannot shut you down real quick, because it's a way to do it. So I need people to understand that. Right. Just because somebody is rocking with God, I'm talking about hooping and hollering, praising 7 days a week, 24/7, does not mean they cannot shut you down. Because guess what? When you are rocking with God and you moving how you move, and you just minding your business and doing whatever, I'm going to tell you like this. That's the worst. That's the way that hurts worse than the hooping and hollering and the drama or whatever. And people don't get that. So I'm telling y'all out there now, if you think that, don't say I didn't warn you. Because again, that's another human being. They have feelings. People get tired and they walk away. And that 10th time, they might stand there for a minute and shut your behind down for the last time. And that's it.
Right.
That's it. So I don't like that misperception. I don't like that. Because I've heard it and it's like I'm hearing it. I don't know why I'm hearing that.
How you believe in God and you cuss?
Yeah, what you mean? See again.
But you the one that you'll go to church every day. You in Bible study every Wednesday, but you the biggest hypocrite, baby. No. That's a whole nother subject.
That's a whole nother subject. We're not gonna get into that. I'm just saying, people trying people like that. That's not fair. You don't do that. God allows you to handle your business. It's a way to do it. Y'all act like sitting up here, somebody said a cuss word. Oh God, you going to hell. You going to hell. You ain't, you take, it's just so, it's crazy. And they want to hold it. They want to keep putting it in your face. I thought you said you was with God and you said that cuss. Bye. You, thank you. Cause you just showed me I don't need to deal with you. Bye.
Ooh,
goodbye.
Yeah.
So, we gotta do better. I'm so Mo, I really applaud you for opening up, about that. I know it's not easy to share things and even share, you just being wrongly accused of something like that. And everybody can't talk like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, honestly, and you always be like, why you like, man, why you just care so much? Honestly, like, it's just the people that like come around me. I don't know, it just may be me, but like I get to this possessive type of thing where like I feel like you belong to me at that point, no matter who it is. So it's just like, being through that or whatever, like I genuinely like care about people until you cross me. Then I don't care about you. That's a whole other situation. But it's like I really genuinely like accept people into my life and like I genuinely care about people because it's just like, again, like I could have been gone.
Most definitely.
Gone. Fast. Just gone. And so it's just like I care about people and I just take people in, into my life and I really like care about people like genuinely. And then like you become like I get possessive of people. I do. And it's like, you become mine or whatever. Mm-hmm. But that's a whole other situation.
Gosh, so Mo, I want to ask so much about. I'm like, you like, what you mean by that? I want to go into it so bad, but look, let's save that. Let's save that.
That's a whole nother situation.
Yeah, that's a whole other situation.
That's why when you be asking, like, how did I still stay in contact with you, through all of the whatever? It's because like after that, it's just to go through something like that, and it's just. When people come into my life that I really like click with it, I start to really genuinely care about people and like really accept you into my life. And it's just like, I care about you.
And you can get hurt like that. Your feelings can get hurt like that because you're like that. I get what you're saying because I feel you. That's why I'm like, we gonna get into that another. And I know Kiki is like that too. Because she's trying to heal herself from all that. So we're gonna get into that. We have so much to talk about. And we're a little over 2 hours now. Mo, I know we're gonna respect your time because I know you gotta get that project in. But I think we talked about a lot. Let's wrap it up. And Kiki, I'll start with you. Any words that you want to leave, the listeners with, going forward, with having, making sure that they're having healthy relationships and practicing that,
Ooh. I don't even know where to start.
It's deep, ain't it? That's because it's okay. It's deep. It's deep.
It really, really is. Because it's still a lot that I'm going through that I haven't even discussed with family. So that needs to be talked about.
Well, okay, let me ask you this. So since you're saying that, because this is real, we're not faking it for nobody. If we don't know and we're stuck, we don't know, we stuck, and I don't know. Let's start there, okay? So I don't want you to feel like you gotta, no, that ain't what this is. So let me ask you this. Since you mentioned that it's still things that you haven't even touched with your family yet. You haven't even gone there yet and addressed it yet. But I'm sensing that it's coming.
Oh, yeah, it's coming. It's there because something was triggered while we're on now. And I don't...
So tell me, and everybody else, tell all of us, since your experience while on the show this evening, you being triggered, instead of you leave, well, I guess it can be along the same lines. How do you think you're going to move forward? What are you feeling that you should do now? How about that?
Yeah, I'm kind of torn because I don't know whether to address it. Because I couldn't at the time because we're still on. Okay. But I'm like, why address it? In my head, I'm like, why address it now? Because time has passed. So it's kind of like, why would you even say anything? But then on the other end, I'm like, well, I should, because you need to know that that was disrespectful.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like torn.
Well, I think...
but I really think I'm just going to go pray about it. I'm going to go to my room and meditate. Put on me some vibrations and meditate and talk to God and really let it go. Because honestly, I feel like what happened, and it really wasn't that deep. It was deep to me. Because I politely, let me just tell you real quick. I politely asked, can you be quiet? Because I'm in the middle of something. And it was oh, okay. And I honestly think, I'm not going to say honestly think, because I honestly don't know how they feel. But to me, I think it's because they see the growth and they don't know how to handle the growth. This is something that I typically don't do. Like, they're not used to me doing this and speaking and, so it's like she's growing and I'm still stuck where I'm at.
Oh, God. Yeah.
And I can't handle it because I'm older. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, do I say something or just let it go because that's something that you need to deal with within yourself? You know what I mean? That's something for that person to figure out. Is it for me to go to them and say, oh, that's real disrespect? Because I feel like if I do that, it's going to be a whole confrontation because they're not going to be able to handle how I'm coming at them, even though if I'm coming at this tone. You see what I'm saying? So I think I'm just going to go meditate on it, talk to God about it, and let that be that. I think that's
you said that well. In my opinion, I will say this, because I want you to remember, remember not to downplay your feelings, because I hear you, it might not be important. I don't know if I should say something, but you also said it's important to you. So I would encourage you as your friend to speak up for yourself and stand up for yourself, because the Tequila Danielle I know,
Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm afraid of.
You know how to stand up for yourself. So I would encourage you to do that if it bothers you.
Right. I think I am maybe tomorrow, but right now I don't think it'll be good. I think I need to go meditate and see where that's going to go, because I feel like it's going to be bigger than what it is.
But just be
Not
ready.
bigger than what it is because it's big, because it's important to me. But
excuse me.
I really think that person is going to just take it over the top, and then it's going to be, so like, right now I just don't. I'm going to go meditate. Yeah. And probably bring it up tomorrow.
Yeah. You don't have to do it right this minute. Going. That's what you're doing, the right thing. That's what you're supposed to do anyway. Before, stuff like that. Just have that conversation, and then you need to make sure you have that real conversation. However you feel, don't hold back. Talk about it. When you're talking to God, let it out. How you feeling? It could be like, you know what? This is pissing me off right here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he already know. I come to him real and raw.
Right. He know, but he want to hear it from you. You pissed off? Because I know you pissed off, but you ain't telling me you're pissed off. So...
Right.
I'm saying, be real. Like, I really encourage you. And, you're, like you said, generational. You got to break these cycles. These unhealthy generational cycles. That's not going to mean anything, because I'm not coming back repeating all these tests in my next lifetime. I don't know about y'all, but
right. And it all goes back to what Mo was saying, like support, because I've never gotten that, period. So it's almost like, okay, she busy, something business-wise, who cares? It's almost like that's what that was, because you was like whatever. You doing a podcast, whatever. You know what I mean? It's like, wow.
Well,
so just to the audience too, like Kylan is saying, like she's informing me, speak on it. So I encourage y'all to speak on it. Like, this was a growing lesson for me. So definitely speak about the situation. And if you need to, take some time to speak on it. Mm-hmm. But definitely talk to that person about what's going on, because you have feelings. And if your feelings keep getting stepped on and keep getting hurt, then what is that going to do to you in the long run?
Yep.
You're not healing. So
I agree. You're absolutely right. Mo, you got some last little words for us? Mo, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
You got some last words, some words of wisdom.
Acting kind of crazy, but encouraging words, like, honestly, like, you just don't have to be strong all the time.
Amen. Jesus, yes, ma'am.
You are allowed to be sad. You are allowed to be that person where you need somebody. Like, you don't have to always put your feelings aside just because it's what other people expect you to do or want you to do. You don't always have to do that. And honestly, y'all, it really, really took me as like this age really to really come to grips with that.
Yeah.
And to really voice that to people, like, I don't want to be bothered. Leave me alone. No, I'm not coming. No, I'm not doing. No, I can't watch nobody. No, can't nobody come. Like, it really got to that point at like this age or whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's really, and I always say stand up for yourself because I've always been the one to stand up for myself, but it wasn't standing up for myself to the point where it's that I'm standing up for myself because I'm just tired of dealing with people.
Yeah.
I stood up for myself because, right is right and wrong is wrong in that sense, but never to the point for my emotions.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, because that's totally different. Standing up to people for your emotions and standing up to people because right is right and wrong is wrong. That's two totally different things. Two totally different things in my book. So, really just gotten to the point where I'm not about to allow you to yell at me. I'm not about to allow you to treat me any different than the next person without me voicing my opinion. So, it's stand up for yourself. You don't have to be that strong person all the time. And just really honestly, like, don't always look for people to give you what you need. It's best sometimes to learn yourself to know what you need, because you be going to people go to other people looking for some type of validation from other people to learn themselves. And how you gonna look for validation in somebody else and you don't even know yourself? So get to learn your own self.
Yeah.
And always just set them boundaries. Like, set boundaries. I'm a big advocate of setting boundaries. So that's all I got to say.
Yeah, well, that was good. And don't look for you in other people.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Stop looking at other people trying to be like, oh, they got this quality. That's like me. Or nah, because that ain't you.
Mm-hmm. Or you think they're supposed to be a certain way because that's how you are.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I 100% agree with both of you. And I think both of you said it all right there, but I will reiterate, like you mentioned again, Mo, making sure you're setting those boundaries, because people, even friends, even family, will pull you and they'll pull you in so many different directions. And then when you get home, you look at your to-do list, you like, I ain't did nothing. I haven't accomplished nothing. My time was wasted on them. And look where they are. They good. And now look at me. Nobody's helping me. Set those boundaries. And, reiterate it again. Like we keep talking about. Make sure that you are receiving that same type of support or energy from those who that you're helping. Are they giving it back? And it because you know how you feel. It's not like you got to sit there and say, is she doing it? Is he doing? You people who are listening now, who's hearing this, who will hear this later or whenever, you're gonna know. You're going to know who ain't putting out, being able to, and understand that it's no such thing as perfect. So guess what? It's no such thing as a perfect relationship. I don't care what anyone has to say. It's not. You're going to have your trials and tribulations, but again, that's how you learn. That's how you grow. But in doing so, you have to learn how to be able to resolve things in a healthy manner, because at the end of the day, you want a resolution, right? Yeah. So that's what you're aiming for. And it's not going to happen overnight. We're all working to, be better people, operating in this human form, so you just have to take each other's feelings into consideration, you know, and what may be important to someone else, it may not be important to you. So to just dismiss and, you know, deflect someone's emotions or feelings, it's not fair. Because think about when somebody does that to you, because again, somebody does it. We've all experienced it. So just think about that feeling for a moment, you know, and I think when we do that, we become, you know, better friends, better daughters, just better people in general, you know, to others. And that all comes with, you know, supporting one another. That's support right there. Because you're thinking about that person's feelings. Just saying, I mean, you never know what a smile, and, you know, when I say support, it's not, you got to go out and do something extravagant. Just, hey, you feeling, hey, how you doing? Or when you send a text, don't just come at me like that, you know, in the morning when I'm just waking up or something, bringing your issues on me like that. Dang, be considerate. You gonna drop that at 7 o'clock in the morning on me? You couldn't wait until 1? You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
give me a few peaceful hours. Like, I'm just saying that before you. I'm not saying don't call your friend, don't call whoever with your problems. Just think for a moment. Hey, let me be considerate of them real quick. I'm going through this. I mean, now, you know, certain situations are emergency and everything. I get that, but in general, just be considerate of, wait a minute, let me call them in a few hours. Let me get them time. I don't want the first few hours of the morning in the last few hours of the night. No, don't do me like that. You know what I mean? So just be considerate, you know, and I think that will go a long way. If you get that, I think that's it right there. You know what I mean? But just, and if there's a problem, you know, don't fester on it. Don't wait. If, you know, because sometimes people don't know if they've done something to you or not. You know, things happen indirectly because people are triggered by certain things and you don't know. So you know, say, you know, it's okay to say, hey, you know, when you did that or you said that or whatever, you know, it kind of didn't sit well with me or whatever. And I know sometimes it can be scary because you're like, I don't want to have confrontation. A lot of people don't like confrontation, but, you know, confrontation doesn't have to be dramatized. You know, just speak up. Just sit down over a cup of coffee or on the phone or however you want to bring it up, and just in the appropriate time, and just say what's on your mind and give that person the opportunity to, you know, correct that, because they don't know. But I am going to say this. I did mention it earlier, you know, that I had a conversation with my mother or whatever. But I also mentioned that it was conversation still needed with my father. I haven't had that conversation yet. So, guess what? Kiki, I'm in the same boat as you. It's a lot of us, you know, we don't know. I have to have that conversation. And next time, you know, we come back, hopefully, you know, I can say that I did have that conversation and it went well, because it's much needed. It's much needed for me. So that is the pit of my, you know, my sadness and where my depression came from. So it stemmed from that. But I just want to thank you ladies for joining, you know, us having this discussion this evening, and just, you know, trying to share with the world, you know, just share this information, just share our stories, just, you know, not being afraid, and not, you know, not being afraid of what someone else has to say, which is another conversation. Because that's, you know, that's a big deal. But I appreciate you ladies. I appreciate our listeners. I am looking forward to, you know, growing this podcast into other things in the community, being able to talk to people face to face, and just helping people connect, practicing, just having better relationships with people, because people don't know how to talk. They don't know when to talk. They don't know what they should do. Some people, they're just afraid. So I just really hope that, people who are listening to us, that listen to these podcasts, that press play, you're really taking it in, you're really taking this advice and you're able to apply it, and it helps. It's helping you. So that's all I have. I just wish everyone well. And until next time, peace, love, and light. Good night, guys.
Good night. Good night.